So before we get into the nitty-gritty of how we dodge and burn and the practical applications, I really want to talk a little bit about why we dodge and burn and the concept behind it, because I think it's important to grasp that before we move into how exactly we dodge and burn. So dodge and burn as a concept is basically creating 3D on a 2-dimensional plane. So if I grab this piece of paper, you can see that as photographers, we're really lucky that our art form is basically an x-axis and a y-axis. And I can never remember which one is which, but what I know is that it doesn't have a z-axis. So basically, it's just 2 dimensions. It's not like sculpture where there is a 3rd dimension in it as well. But that poses some problems as well, because if you light your subject in a certain way where there's light coming from all different angles, you run the risk of creating a very flat lighting on your subject. And what flat lighting does is it basically zeroes out all of the depth within an image. So that's what we're trying to basically combat against when we're dodging and burning. We are trying to actually create the illusion of 3D on a 2D platform or 2D piece of art. Now, when it comes to skin, it's important to know that dodge and burn as a concept is important for mitigating and decreasing the distracting elements on the skin, so that the facial features take center stage, and it's really easy for the viewer of the photograph and the subject in the photograph to instantaneously connect with one another. That's what a really good portrait does. You know, you see this photo and then immediately you're kind of captivated or drawn in by it. Another thing that dodge and burn is really good at doing is evening out skin tone. So on one hand, dodge and burn as a concept can create the illusion of 3D. But then I guess that would be the macro dodge and burn. But there's also micro dodge and burn, which is more like getting rid of those small little wrinkles and blemishes on the skin that are basically just inconsistencies in light. So all a wrinkle is it's a highlight, and then underneath it, it's a shadow. That's all really a wrinkle is. So if you can darken the highlight area and brighten the shadow area, you're ostensibly getting rid of the contrast between the two and creating a less noticeable wrinkle, if you will. So photographers do this dodge and burn thing in post-production. They also do it in camera, but I'm gonna get there in the next section. But makeup artists also do dodge and burn. They just call it something different. They call it contouring. So really quick, let me hop over and show you what some contoured makeup looks like. So again, thank you, Michael Corsentino, for allowing us to use your images for this course. Here is the makeup before it's been blended. And I think it's important to show what that looks like, because the makeup artist is basically trying to do the exact same thing that we're trying to do. They're just using a different medium. They're using makeup and we're using Photoshop to do it. So as you can see from this image, the makeup artist has darkened the sides of the nose and she's brightened the bridge of the nose. She's also brightened the areas under the eyes, and she's darkened underneath the cheekbones. So basically what she's trying to do is anywhere where she has applied lighter than normal makeup, she's trying to push that closer to camera. And anywhere where she's applied darker than normal makeup, that's gonna be pushing away from camera. So what she's doing with her makeup colors is basically creating the illusion of 3D. So as we move on, I wanna show you what the makeup looks like after it's blended. And that's here in this shot. Again, Michael Corsentino. And you can see that with the specific lighting, it's really nice and soft, but it's definitely might be a little bit too soft And then that is where the dodge and burn comes in. So here is our after for our dodge and burn, and here's our before. As you can see, I did do a little bit of liquefy on this image, and that's right here on the shoulder, where the shoulder meets the neck. But if you look at the bridge of the nose, you can see how brightening and darkening certain areas of the nose can really give the illusion of actually changing the form. So that's what dodge and burn is. We've talked in this section about what dodge and burn is, and our next section is going to be why we dodge and burn.